Good morning. Hello, my name's Shane, and I will be doing some building this morning in Talespire. Just had me a little brekkie, and now I'm going to start throwing up some blocks. So, conceptually, what I have in my mind is for this campaign setting is I want to set up a world that's floating. I want to set up just this kind of ethereal kind of feeling to it. A lot of airships, a lot of floating islands, stuff like that. A lot of um, things just in the air. So, what I'm kind of looking for here is like pieces of natural environment. Um, just start building the world. I think I'm gonna call it Arcadia. We'll see. Um, Using Talespire. It's a new TTRPG designed for, um, yeah, like Dungeons and Dragons and all sorts of tabletop RPGs. I'm specifically using it running a 5e campaign. Um, Premise of the campaign that's kind of motivating the build here is the world is kind of like exploded a little bit, and something that I'll probably call the Sundering. And as such, now there's just a bunch of floating land masses um, all over the place. Large ones, little ones, um, but no formal Terra. So I'm going to start calling in the campaign this stuff that's floating New Terra. And Old Terra will be a different part of the map, different part of the world. It'll be what's left of the world after it kind of exploded. So I'm just looking through here, looking through some of these natural blocks, and this is kind of a new one. See, like that one's kind of fun. Little floating swamp territory. That's not bad. Kind of like the way that looks. But it's all going to be part of the world that is now high up in the sky. So I'm thinking kind of like some Miyazaki vibes, some um, just floating castles and what have you, all just hanging out up here in the world. So we can go with some of this landmass here. Like there's a basic dirt that's not too bad. That would work. Or we got this 2x2. How's that look? That actually looks a little bit better. So we can use some of this bigger stuff to start building, I don't know, the base of these floating things. I think a lot of it's going to end up looking like um, kind of granity. So I don't know how much actual swamp stuff I'll do. Maybe I'd like to do some big chunks that are predominantly forests and stuff. But the idea in the campaign is a lot of this is um, gone. A lot of this you can't use. You're floating on these giant chunks of whatever kind of gachapon you got out of the Sundering. So I'm thinking if I'm gonna do castle type stuff, a lot of this is gonna be kind of surface level or like whatever chunks of nations got tossed up, kind of dilapidated. Um, this is gonna be one of those world instances where it didn't happen too long ago, and society's still kind of to adjust to their new situation here. I'm kind of digging on a lot of these cavern ones too. So there's ideas for that. Use that for um, these rock faces, because a lot of these are going to have at the bottom of them kind of crumbling rock stuff, and up top you'll have some plateaus and things of that nature. So we'll see how I want to kind of build it and what might look the best for doing so. What I appreciate about this is it tells me there's colliding here, but um, even with that, they still let me lay down pieces and what have you, which is pretty cool. I enjoy that quite a bit. So I can actually rotate these and get them to kind of collide here. Boop. And then I'll end up with a penis. Dope. But I can use this to get hollow spaces and stuff that I'm thinking about. Because I'd really like to use this to my full advantage. It's really unique now that we have, instead of like roll 20 or VTD, a little bit more three-dimensional area to work with. I think that's really cool and exciting. So we're gonna just start slapping some things together and see what kind of looks good. Kind of build out the bottom layers of these caverns. Well, and what's left of, essentially. Let's see, shift. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Start building up what's left of the world, you know? And really give it some vibes. Really make it feel like chunks of earth just cracked and exploded into the sky. So that's what we're looking to do. The best way is to just start doing it. That doesn't look too bad. So I think I'll build out the base to something I like and then go through and fill in the hollow spots I'm going to leave with maybe some sewer tiles, maybe some natural tiles, stuff like that. But I kind of like that placement, so we'll grab this and shift it over here a little bit. How's that? Same issue. Grab, shift, and now we'll bring it over here where I want it, or maybe I won't. What's the deal here? So I don't necessarily like this little gap here, so I want it to look more cohesive. I don't know if that did it or not. Kinda no. How's that? I don't know if that's better or worse. And I guess we can kind of just leave it the way it is. I mean, we are talking about a D&D world. You know, now we're going to have big old chunks of old Terra creating this new Terra here. And we don't know, as players, they're not going to know why any of this stuff floats the way it does. The main premise is there. Some of them are going to have dealt with this for a while. Some of them may have lived in castles, who knows? Give them all their choices and freedom to make whatever choices they want about their history and understanding of the world. But I think the more we give them to work with, the better it is. Boop. It's not so bad. So, like I said, I think I'm going to build out this bottom layer. If there's little floating gaps, well, there's floating gaps. And if players are curious about that, simple answers, well, magic. If you ever feel confused about something to do as a DM, maybe just call it magic. I'm not going to say it works all the time, because it definitely doesn't. Some things do need logical explanations to be enjoyable, I think. But as far as world building goes, a little bit of magic, a little bit of mystique's never a wrong thing to do, I don't think. Nope. Alright, well, that's being a little bit of a hassle here, so let's just go somewhere different with this. How about that? What I should do is also mix it up a little bit. I've been using the same piece quite a bit, so let's come in here, we'll add something a little bit more structured to the organization. There we go. That doesn't look so bad. Okay, you know what we'll do? Let's clean up our area here a little bit. Get these sample pieces out of the way. Get that gone. Clickety click. And we're good. And it's gone. So now I want to use some of these pieces here, these corners and these walls. However, looking at them, what I could do is start using these to map out like a bottom layer. So this is going to be one of the bottom layers of this floating city. So if there's a little something to do down here, that'd be cool. At the very least, with having 3 dimensions, you know, it's fun to kind of start planning out what exactly your adventurers are going to be capable of doing. What exactly is going to, you know, how much free reign in the world they'll have. Maybe you can do something like this. Put this on that. Make that look like a little floating rock out there. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe that. Maybe not. I'm thinking maybe not. We'll just get rid of that. Boop. But we'll just keep building some walls here. Keep giving this depth. And as soon as I feel like I'm done with this layer, I'll just move on up and do something different. And start planning that out. I think I want that. Go back to these fun little squigglers. I like these ones a lot. These are fun tiles. The best part about this is a lot of what people will see is going to be whatever level of the game they're on, you know. And I don't mean 1 through 20, I mean what level. So, with this new 3D mapping, it gives players a lot of options. It gives DMs like me a lot of options of stuff to do. I feel like maybe it cuts out a little bit of the story element where you have the DM telling them a story, painting a picture. Um, you know, because instead of having to paint that picture, now they have something directly to look at. But I also think that gives a little bit more freedom to the DM to actually um, build NPC relationships, build up the scenario, build up what the characters are doing. You know, you're less describing what there is to do and more letting them just experience the environment. You know, there's a lot to be said for theater of mind, but there's also a lot to be said for, you know, just being able to genuinely explore an environment, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll see. Let's zoom out a little bit. Ooh, I'm as out as I can be. Okay. Okay. So let's go back over here. Some of my favorite little squigglers. Psh, do that. Come over here. Let's rotate a little bit. There we go. How about that? Nope, we had a gap. Well, good to notice. If we got a gap, we can come over here, see that gap, and fill it in. So that we got a little bit more mystique, a little bit more illusion. Let's see, do we have any other gaps in walls that would look weird from the player's perspective? Not too much, it doesn't look like so. So that's good. Well, I'm just kind of feeling it out, getting a feel for the vibe of what I kind of want to produce. Again, we kind of have an idea for what type of area this is. It's a floating piece of new Terra, is what it is. There we go. That looks good. There we go. Alright, let's keep on keeping on, I suppose. Over here. That there. Alright. Here. That there. There we go. Let's get this coming this way a little bit. Let's do this. Is that the same piece? That's the same piece, bucko. There you go. Boom. Boom. That's looking pretty good. piece. Cool, let's do this. Start edging this stuff out. There we go. Alright. Oh, now I'm worried. I see, yep. There's a visible gap here. See if I can get it. Bloop. Yep. Don't like that. So let's fill that in. Boom. Also, that seems to be floating. That's alright. So I'm noticing that this piece right here is a little bit elevated, but what I'll probably do is when I go back in to fill the floor, I'll just um, slide some tile underneath it and call it good. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna go with the Bob Ross. No mistakes. Just happy little accidents. Doop, doop. Oh, I think I like it best that way. Boom. Boom. Almost looks like it should fit in there real nice. Let's get a better view of it. Come on over here. The other thing I should be really cognizant about is making areas players can get into, you know. They only have a certain amount of movement, they only have a certain amount of action. So, you gotta give them something that, if I give them an area, they should be able to get into it or at least interact with it in some way. Before we... What about this? So we're about to close this up anyways. Oh, that's just a fancy chunk with the... Doesn't look bad though. I kind of like that fancy chunk. And now it's already got... Boom. Come up over here. Okay, so now we got another little gap coming here with this fun little spacer tool. Little filler guy. Maybe. Let's see. How's that? Alright, not so bad. Boom. Another one. Rotate maybe. Right there. Alright, got another little gap. We'll throw one in there. Alright, not bad. So now we have just a bottom little map. We can come over here. Got a decent amount of space, so each one's going to be just a little 5x5 tiles, so my characters can walk in there. This corner space over here is kind of nice because it can actually fit in there, so I might be able to hide some items or maybe something fun for them in there if they want to explore it. Decent little area here, so what we'll do, keep with the thematic element here. So we'll grab some of these big boy tiles here, big girl tiles, whatever, big person tiles. These 2x2s. We're gonna grab these 2x2s. What we're gonna do. Slidey slide. How do you fit right there? How about over here? Don't look back, don't look back, boop. Okay, that one might need a single tile. Let's start filling in this floor. Boop. Try and give it a different. So I'm just rotating the piece so that they don't look all the same. Not that. It's gonna make a huge difference, but kind of lend itself to some more realistic thematics. Or not even thematics, I guess aesthetics. Doesn't look so bad. Alright, let's come up here. Shooby-doo. We're just gonna spend some time. Oop. If I can, let's do that. Boop. Grab this 2x2 again. Bring it on over here. Rotate. Rotate. Now rotate. Put it up here. Why not? Boom. Boom. Perfect. Left a little gap. That's alright. Maybe I'll throw a different one in there. Boop. Boop. Oh no. So, left some gaps, but that's alright. We got these little 1x2s. Fill those in here. Hopefully it'll break up the pattern a little bit. Just looking at it, it all kind of looks the same. Boom, shift, bring it over to where I want it. Boom, there. Cool. Just rotate it a little bit. Back it up. Alright. That doesn't look so bad. Fill this in, why not? And we'll just start. Lots of filling in. Sometimes that's the most tedious part of map making. Now this is just one layer, so we'll do this layer. And then another good concept that gets people using things that they don't have, or well, don't use a lot, but every character sheet comes with, is using your explorer's equipment, stuff like that. You know, they get explorer's packs or they get dungeoneer's patch. All of them have ropes and candles and different things, so you don't always have to provide characters with, you know, oh, how are we gonna get down here? How are we gonna get back up? It's like, well, sometimes you gotta figure it out. Sometimes a little bit of a challenge is a good thing. You don't want to put them in a scenario where they're gonna just automatically fail, but giving them a challenge. So if they really want to start exploring deeper layers here, alright, well, yeah, you can do that. Just, know that you're getting into some dangerous territory. This is a piece of, as the world lore goes, chunk of planet that's just been torn up and sent out into the sky. So there's not going to be steps. There's not going to be ladders and all that fun stuff. In fact, there'll probably be none of that. There'll be a big old hole that you gotta climb down into and find a way to get down and find a way to get back up and all that fun challenges of doing said things. Boom. Doo doo. Now I'm trying to get this up in here. I also want to go to the outside and see if it looks weird, which it doesn't, so that's nice. Boop boop. Switch over to this 1x2. Nope. There. Yep. What about out here? Shift. Slide it on in there. That one. That one I could probably get away with. Yeah, we'll just put that in there. Same thing with this. We'll just kind of fill that in. And now we'll go to the outside. It does look kind of weird, but not so bad. Oh, our little nook that we were talking about earlier could use a little extra oomph in it. Alright. Well, that is the first layer to this will be chunk of floating city. Now let's give it some extra fun stuff here. Maybe a little cover here and here. Maybe, I don't know, it's got to be holding itself up somehow, right? So maybe some pillars. Maybe I'll take, yeah, let's take a chunk of squiggler here. Yeah. Boom. Boom. Rotate. Boom. Alright. Piece over here. Switch it up a bit. Grab one of these 1x1s. Bam. Switch it up a little bit more. Grab one of these 90s here. Bam. Cool. And then what I can do is I can save this the way it is. And I can control and select the whole thing here. Boop boop. Let's go over here to layers. See if I can't bring this up a little bit. Let's scoot this. Move up. Let's go up higher. Look down. Close that. There we go. Now we got a nice clean view of this whole thing. So what we can do is X. Boom. Make this over here. I think that's long enough. Oop. And I mucked up. Right click that. X. I'm trying to do. There we go. That's got her. Let's rotate down. Boom. We're just gonna copy that slab. Boom. There we go. Now if I wanted to, what I could do is take this slab, and since I got a copy of it, I can go with control. I can just slide it on over this one and double down on what I already have. Just to give this a little extra thickness if I wanted to. Well, that's fun too. Boom. Anyways, we got one layer done, and then we can copy it and do a whole nother one and all fun stuff. This was just a little building episode 1. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff, hit me up. This recording will be on YouTube. I got a Discord. It's the questing board. You can look me up there. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff. Take it easy. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.